All right. So we've been reading the last few days in this phenomenal book from Price Pritchett, and he calls it U Square. And if you haven't seen it, it's about that next level performance, about that quantum jump. It's like about making a huge change in result. You're going from somewhere to another, like a really next level stuff. And if you haven't heard of it, you haven't read it, it's pretty cool book. You ought to get it and see what's it all about. And in the beginning of it, he talks about the story of the fly. The fly is basically banging its head against the window, wanting to escape, but yet 10 seconds away is an escape route with the door open, but the fly does not try a different approach. The fly does not think of a different way of doing it and is stuck trying to work harder. So this is what the idea of this book is, to give you a chance to rethink what you do on a daily basis to grow yourself and to think of a different approach, think outside the box. And I like how he starts at the beginning of the book on this fly story. And he goes like this: I'm sitting in a quiet room at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful little place hidden back among the pine trees about an hour out of Toronto. It's just past noon, late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. So he's using the fly as the story, and it's a true story, but think of it as how many times you're sitting there working on your stuff, and it's a succeed or not succeed, it's a risk or not risk, right? Now this fly kills itself trying to escape through the window, and I'm not going to read the whole page on the fly story today, but I just want to give you the idea that it's trying to escape very, very hard, goes back and goes through the window. It's destined to die. And the same thing with how we go about doing things. You have to risk sometimes some things to grow. And then on the chapter on page 21, this is where I am today, page 21, choose a different set of risks. That's what he called it. Choose a different set of risks. Going for the quantum leap feels chancy. It's like, oh man, no, who likes risk, right? You were born a risk taker, but yet somehow along the way you're not anymore. So we're all born risk takers. The biggest obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. So let's see what he said. The risks hit you as rather apparent and maybe quite threatening, but you must stack them against the hidden risks you accept when you decide to live with the status quo. Ask yourself what you're risking if you do not go for the quantum leap. The risk is that you won't get what you really want out of life. You've got to understand that you can never escape risk. It's not something you can decide to live with or without. Something is always at stake. You can only decide which risks to take. So some people are living so safe, so calm, so like they're like almost like a flat line. And you're a flat line, you're dead. You never want to be a flat line. And you don't want to be so boring. You want to be exciting. You want to excite some new ideas, some new conversations, some new ways of growing and understanding what others can do, right? That's what he's talking about. You can never escape risk. Whether you choose to go for a quantum leap or to follow your usual routines, you are putting something on the line. So choose carefully and don't kid yourself with the idea that playing it safe by living with the status quo gives you the best odds. That may be the surest way of losing. So you can be betting yourself that I should do this or maybe I should not. I should take this, I should not. I should get this mentor, or maybe I should not. And then you don't. What risk are you taking? You're risking some small investment in yourself at the risk of staying the way you are, frustrated, stuck, not feeling good. Where is the risk? The risk is staying the same is the risk, according to my eyes. Quantum leaps do mean that to some degree you must move beyond the zone of familiarity, security, and comfort. But you can only make that jump to U square without being reckless or impulsive. Very strong words. Frankly, making a quantum leap is not mere gambling. It's not a crapshoot. You simply move on an opportunity you've been ignoring. You abandon your excuses. You reframe the problem. You take a completely different chance. A quantum leap is risking it in a way that unmasks the truth. revealing how the only thing of significance that has been standing in the way is you. You're standing in the way of your success. You see the call and you don't take it. It's in front of you and you don't make it. You don't say yes for something new. You don't take the risk. You stay stagnant. You prefer the status quo. Admit it. See, taking responsibility and understanding where you are is the key to freedom. And if you want that freedom, you better start taking responsibility. I'm speaking to you. Risk believing in yourself. Risk acting on the assumption that you can succeed in making a quantum leap. Otherwise, the risk is that you will settle for only a fraction of what life has to give you. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. To stay where you are for the rest of your life as long as you're happy with it. But if you're not content and if you're not happy and if you want more, you're going to have to risk, baby. Now, most people are not like that. Most people want more without risking anything. You must pay the price. The goal is to shorten that gestation period for you. This isn't a case of taking a big chance. It's a matter of giving yourself a big chance. I'm going to read this line again. This isn't a case of taking a big chance. It's a matter of giving yourself a big chance. The major obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. Until you test the limits regarding what you can achieve, you can't truly know what your chances really are. And the odds change in your favor when you begin to challenge them. But if you try to minimize your vulnerability by avoiding a new set of risks, you kill your chances for a quantum leap. So you see, most of the time, we don't take the risk because we don't trust ourselves. You are not willing to bet on yourself. I know you do what's suggested in here, your things will change. Because I've tried it. I've tested it. Your job is to test this material. Your job is to bet on yourself and not hide and not sit in the shadows and in the dark. Your job is to come to the light. The risk is not doing anything instead of doing something. That's the risk. The risk is staying stagnant, staying the same year after year after year. The risk is not betting on yourself. It's so beautiful. He's done an amazing job in these things. And it's supposed to inspire you to move you into action. And for example, like we've been talking about this other paper here, the self-confidence formula. And if you want it, let me know and I can send it to you. Like you read this every day for 30 days, your life will change. You start showing up better, start showing up stronger, things will start happening. And that's what he said. So if you want it, let me know. I can send it to you. But he said in here, the major obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. Until you test the limits regarding what you can achieve, you can't truly know what your chances really are. And the odds change in your favor when you begin to challenge. So you just have to start. You don't even have to finish. You just have to start. You got to give yourself that big chance. And you're not giving yourself a chance to grow, a chance to become. You don't even test yourself. You got to test how far you can go. Listen, you're listening to this, the odds are in your favor that you'll do something about it. And if you want to start living in that next level, pay clear attention. Listen to the previous ones. And if this inspired you, come back. We'll continue tomorrow, perhaps, or the next few days on other chapters. And the next one is going to be trust in the power of pursuit. Trust in the power of pursuit. What are you pursuing? So I look forward to sharing with you more. Have an amazing day. Blessing to all.